We are live.
We are live. Look at you stating a
We
fact.
are live. It's a
That is a
factual statement.
factual statement you made. All right. Zoe is around. For anyone who just saw the High Hopes pod, she's
Yes,
there.
it's nonstop
Yeah.
podcasting.
Yeah. Zoe's got a lot. Zoe's working hard today
Nice.
at being annoying. No, I'm just kidding. Zoe, you're great. I love you. You're wonderful. You're
All right.
wonderful. All right, ready?
Yes,
Zoe, I'll
let
tell
us
you
do
to
it.
say hi at some point later, okay? Okay. You ready to roll?
Yes.
All right. Not you, but I love you for it. Zoe's ready to roll too.
Awesome. Always ready.
All right, here we go. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. The Parks Pigs Pod. I got thrown off. So Zoe's
It's
here.
been a while.
Again.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and also Zoe's here. For anyone watching the YouTube, she's somewhere over there.
There we go. Very nice.
There. Hey, Zoe. So there you go. So that's what I got going on. I had to take her to the doctor for the earache today, so that was super fun.
Always a fun trip to the doctor.
And now she was like, I promise I'll be good. I want to hang out with you for your podcast. So she's hanging out for my podcast.
I'm assuming she's got some defensive coordinator takes lined up, some thoughts on some potential odds. Yeah. She doesn't strike me as a Vance Joseph kind of retread coach. So we'll see how she feels.
Yeah,
about that,
she's much into younger coaches.
Yes.
Younger coaches.
Yes. More her age, I guess.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, let's get into it. We're going to get into Parks picks in a little bit with the odds for next season, like the early Super Bowl odds, MVP odds, and stuff with the Eagles. But first, the last pod we previewed the offseason. We talked about the defensive coordinator spot, and two of the main guys got jobs already. So
I know.
I guess Vance Joseph and Jim Leonard will not be the Eagles defensive coordinator. Let's take them in the order they happen. Jim Leonard, your thoughts on missing out? Obviously, we're higher on him than Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird he's missing it because of a hip problem. I mean, if you would have told me all the reasons that they weren't going to hire Jim Leonard, him having hip surgery would have been pretty low down the list of ways that he wasn't going to take the job. I mean, look, if he can't do the job, he can't do the job. And if he doesn't feel he's ready to take on the responsibility because of a health issue, there's really nothing you can say about that. It is what it is. Now, I do wonder if he just didn't want the job, not to diminish a hip injury. I've been lucky enough never to need hip surgery, but I mean, the season's a few months away. I don't know. It's not like he's playing. He's just coaching. I've seen coaches ride on carts and stuff to get the job done. But regardless,
it's like a pretty lame excuse is the point.
Yeah, it seems
literally and figuratively. Yeah,
the job just wasn't for him. Now, look, I mean, I think he has a lot of the same concerns that we talked about in the last pod. Like, I would have been high on the hire because I like the excitement of it. I like it's new. It's I like the newness of it and the fact that he's not a retread. But he would have also never coached at this position in the NFL. And he would have never even really coached at a high position at all in the NFL. Now, he did play, but ultimately, when you're going to have an offensive head coach in Sirianni, someone that's not involved in the defensive side of the ball, you're going to want a head coach or a defensive coordinator that, ideally has some experience. So now we can get into Vance Joseph. Like, as much as Vance Joseph wouldn't have excited me because I'm not into retreads and the defense has been hot garbage with him as a coordinator, at least he's been a coordinator. And I feel like the floor on him is high. So that's, look, they're not hiring either of them, but I think that's the interesting kind of line the Eagles have to walk with these defensive coordinator or with the defensive coordinator hiring. You want somebody that is up and coming, someone that's well thought of, someone that other teams want, like Gannon. Gannon was viewed that way when he was hired. But I also think because they're a win now team, I mean, when they hired Gannon in 2021, they were not a win now team. They were a young coaching staff. I mean, Lurie said it to Nick when they hired him. We're excited for the coach you can become. I think they viewed Gannon that same way. They're not in that boat anymore. Like, this team is expected to if not win the Super Bowl, compete for a Super Bowl next year. So there will be no time for growing pains on the job. And that would be my concern with a younger guy like a Jim Leonard. And it's why I would have seen the benefit of Vance Joseph, but ultimately he's going to Denver. So I guess it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So, I think if I had to bet on it right now, I think I'd go back to where we were at the beginning and end up at Denard Wilson. But we'll see. Are there any other to the Vance Joseph point, are there any other seasoned guys out there that you think there is still a chance they could be interested in?
Well, so
Because
real
all
quick,
the other guys are like the Michigan guy and Denard and stuff like that.
well, did you see the Georgia guy? So apparently they
And the
interviewed
Georgia guy, yeah.
the Georgia defensive coordinator, Glenn Schumann. Look, I'm not a huge college football guy. I know Georgia's defense is really good, so that would be the extent of my knowledge. I mean, look, there's also the fact that he coached Jordan Davis, he coached Nakobe Dean, he could end up coaching, but potentially the Eagles' next first round pick if they're able to somehow get Jalen Carter, the defensive tackle,
Well, they're not getting Jalen
they're not
Carter.
going to get him. Well, but look, I mean, if he falls
He's
to
gonna be like
6,
that.
like who knows?
What? He's gonna
No,
be a
I'm
top
saying
like
who
3
knows?
pick.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. He's gonna be out of their range. But I'm just saying that he's coached a lot of the players that are going to be in the NFL on the defensive side of the ball. So I
But
think
it goes against what you just talked about. I mean, this guy,
exactly, yeah.
and especially like at Georgia, like, yeah, he's coached some great defenses. They have had like stayed 5 first-round picks a year ago. Like he has had some studs playing defense for him. Like, I don't know,
So our guy in the chat, Dank Burrito, I guess I'm just gonna say that name. It is what it is. He says, so let's get a guy who's
burrito.
He said, let's get a guy who's not new, but experienced and also young, right? So like, I get it. I get that you're looking for a rare kind of combination here. And I know that that's why Jim Leonard and Vance Joseph were very different candidates, right? And so it really comes down to like, what's the top quality you're going to prioritize in a coordinator? Are you going to go with someone who's experienced, but has probably, had some version of failure at the NFL level if they're available right now? Or are you going to go with somebody that is not experienced, but you like the upside and you think they're a better coach? Like, of those two, which would you pick? I guess I personally would probably go with the inexperienced guy. I was just highlighting the fact that the job now is much different than it was in 2021 2021 when they were making the hire. Now you have to come in and almost, you pretty much have to be ready right away. Although honestly, with how good the offense should be, realistically, you really only need
with your defense doesn't
you
matter.
Really, you really
Like,
only need the defense to be good in one
gone
game. Like
so
he
far
basically has a whole regular season just to figure it out, and then at that point, just be great in the
gone
in the
so
Super Bowl.
far. Like the
No, I mean, look, I know defense matters somewhat, but I'm just saying.
Do you?
Well, but I'm saying, like, look, no one thought Gannon did a great job, and they made the Super Bowl with their defense, right? So ultimately,
but they had studs at every position practically. Like, you're losing those guys. That's the whole thing we talked about. That's the whole issue. Like, they are losing dudes.
All right,
they're
so
not
they're going to have
the amount of studs on defense. Like, you need a defensive coordinator who can help, do something with that.
So Sean Desai, this is brought up from Drew Ballas in our chat. Should have brought Sean up earlier. He would be a nice combination. Has experience, relatively young. Drew brings up in the chat, has experience under Pete Carroll. So that there would be some excitement level to that. I just I don't know. It's maybe because of my defensive thing. It's a tough position to hire for because of where they're at. But ultimately, I just don't think the defensive coordinator will decide.
You just don't care.
Season.
You are so.
I mean, where are you at? Where are you at with it? Like, what do you want in a coordinator?
I think Drew makes a good point. Desai does kind of fill a lot of boxes, but I would be lying if I knew enough about these young guys to really have a strong opinion on it. Like, I don't know. Like, my thought on the Georgia guy is got a lot of studs there, but he might be a great defensive mind. Like, I don't know. I don't watch Georgia's defense super closely. So ideally, like, someone who has some sort of a track record, again, for a team that is, like you said, a Super Bowl or bust team, win the Super Bowl or bust, rephrase it, win the Super Bowl or bust team. Like, and knowing that while, there's still legitimate pieces on defense that are going to be really good. Hassan Reddick is still an Eagle, but they're going to lose guys. This is a defense that had a lot of talent all over the field, had a lot of depth in a lot of spots. And now you're going to have to hope that Jordan Davis is ready to play. You're going to have to hope that Nakobe Dean's ready to play. You're going to have to hope that, whoever they take, potentially whoever they take with the 10th pick is someone who can contribute early on. Like, so I do feel like, and it's part of the reason, me and a lot of people never believed in Gannon is that, I do think they're going to need more from their defensive coordinator this year. Like, I think their defensive coordinator is going to
they won't have as much talent
than he was last year. That's my point. So you need a better coordinator. Coordinator is going to do a good job because he's not going to have the same amount of talent there. And unlike you, I do think defense still matters. So
I think if it came down to it, if I had to pick between experience and upside, on the defensive side of the ball, I would pick upside because that's kind of the gamble they took with Gannon. Now, Gannon was the best defensive coordinator candidate on the
God, what a
market.
loser.
He was, but he was the best defensive coordinator on the market when he was hired. And ultimately, I know, but ultimately, I will go with
I'll
upside.
never get tired of that. By the way, I'll never get tired.
I don't get why people are upset about it. Like, you know, it's a
I'm upset. It's just hilarious. He looks
not
like
upset, right? But people think
he's a loser. Yeah, he's a goober. He's a loser. And I know we called Sirianni that, but again, like we didn't have 2 years of getting to know Nick Sirianni before we saw that press conference. Like we have 2 years.
I don't think Gannon has the it factor the way Nick does. I'll put it that way.
No.
I don't think he does.
He just is awkward. Like he seems awkward with people. Like Jonathan Gannon does not seem like he's like a chill hang. You know what I mean? Like Sirianni, as we've talked about many times on this pod, like I think me and him would be super good buddies and we crush beers together and have a great time together.
Sirianni is a good
awesome
for sure.
Like Jonathan Gannon looks like you're sitting there and just awkward the whole time. You're like trying to get conversation going. There's start and stop, and then he says something weird, and you're like, that was weird. Like he just seems like a weird dude.
I don't disagree. Again, I've always said this about Nick. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: like when do you feel like they need to have a coordinator by? Because the combine is next week. And I know it's not the end of the world, but like they are going to start free agency decisions. They are going to start looking at these draft picks. And I don't know if you're hiring it. Look, I'll take it back. You are going to pick players based off your coordinator, what type of system he's going to run and how, like what skills he prioritizes and all of those things. So, I remember when the Sixers didn't hire Brett Brown for a while and people made a big deal out of it. And that was silly. This is a different situation. I do think they need to make this hire, semi soon. Again, like the staff is going to be in Indianapolis next week, looking at these players, talking about free agents. So my guess is they're going to try to make this hire soon. I do wonder if it just does circle back to Denard Wilson. Like maybe they're just out there talking to different candidates to get their explanation. If, there's that Honest NFL site, which made the point. And I swear that Honest NFL site seems like he has some connection to the Eagles, either used to work, whatever. Like he
said he did. I mean, he says in his tweets he did. Who knows? But he definitely says that he did.
So he brought up the point that, you can meet with these guys just to get their opinions. So maybe they do just circle back to Denard Wilson. And Denard Wilson would check a lot of boxes. Denard Wilson knows the players. He knows what the building is like. He knows how Nick runs his offense. He's young, like never has done the job. So there's that inexperienced part, but there's the upside part of it too. So actually of all the remaining candidates, if I had to power rank them, if I had to power rank the remaining candidates, I'll probably go Denard Wilson, Sean Desai, and then the Georgia guy would be my three.
Cool. It's a good three.
Do you care? Do you care to rebuttal at all?
No, Desai won because he's been a defensive coordinator in the NFL.
All right, there we go. But,
yeah, nailed it. Desai won because I'm just guessing based on the way it's spelled, but Desai won because Drew from Westchester's in, so I'm in. That's all. There you go.
That's all you need to know.
All right, let's get to some odds as Parks Picks Pod. And by the way, we're about to dive into these odds. We're about to talk about the chances for, the Eagles to actually win the Super Bowl this year and what to bet on and Jalen Hurts' MVP odds and all this fun stuff. Download the Bet Park Sportsbook and Casino app. I mean, if you're going to listen to this pod and listen to us go through this stuff and then talk about what to bet on, like, I don't know, it's pretty fun to bet on it then, in my opinion.
Look, man, like, so we're recording this Thursday at 1:00. Barcelona, Real Madrid play in 2 hours.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, the more fun thing is you get to be a part of Elliot's soccer bet thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to be betting that. Rashford,
so what do you got?
Anytime goal.
Who are you betting in the game?
So I'm going to bet Rashford
give us
anytime
the
goal.
Lowdown.
Yeah, I'm going to bet Rashford anytime goal. I think I'm going to go Manchester money line. So here's the deal. I have the MVP up odds on my phone, so I can't read you the odds live because of that.
Got it.
Because I don't want to. But again,
prioritize the content we're about to do.
Here's what I would do if you're live listening. I would parlay Rashford anytime goal with Manchester money line. That would be my pick.
Love it. And then you can make that if you just download the app. And the
download the app, and then you can do that. If you don't have the app, you can't do it. You just can't do it.
App's easy to use. It's intuitive, easy withdrawal, all the good stuff. And again, you can download it in the App Store, Google Play Store, or at betparks.com. Use our promo code GOBIRDS. That's GOBIRDS to get your $750 in bonus site credit back. If your first bet is not a winner, you must be 21 and present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, let's start with the Super Bowl.
I've one super quick thing I would like to say.
Sure.
So The Athletic recently did an article where they
God. This
it's
is
super quick. I know.
The worst. Like, it makes me like go ahead.
I know
I'm
you're
sorry.
gonna get mad.
It makes me mad. It makes me so mad. Like,
all right.
Earmuffs 1, 2, 3. Fuck them. Go ahead.
All right. So The Athletic did a redraft of the 2020 draft with Jalen Hurts, and they had Jalen Hurts 13th, all the way down. I think it was San Francisco.
Asinine. Like, it's embarrassed.
It's just shocking to me because
and The Athletic, like, shut it down. We've jumped the shark. They had Tristan Wirfs going in the third.
I saw that. Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? Now, the top 3 picks are Burrow, Hurts, and in my opinion, it's Hurts, Burrow, Herbert. But in some order, every team in the NFL is picking those 3 quarterbacks first. Every single one, 32 out of 32. Like, this is so dumb. Go ahead.
So I actually think, even if, let's just say, the Chiefs had a top 3 pick in that draft, right? I think they would even draft one of those just to trade them, so like, or a team would trade up. I just I don't normally walk down the path of like, Jalen Hurts is disrespected, blah, blah. Like, that's absurd. Like, he would be picked higher than 13th in an NFL redraft of that draft. He would arguably go,
He would be picked higher than 13th in an NFL draft of all the players NFL right now. Of all the players. All right, the NFL, all new teams, you're starting over. He's going before 13th in that. Like, what are we?
No matter what version of a draft you're doing, all the players, all the quarterbacks, just that draft class, Jalen is going before 13th. Yeah, he just is. So I was just very
MVP this year.
Well, and that's what was surprising to me is like, and look, I will never rip on someone for making content that gets talked about. Like, it is what it is. But like, he didn't even
do that for you.
Yeah. Well, but he didn't even address like, oh, this is low for Jalen. He was just like, oh, the Niners get their quarterback, and it's like, I don't know. I was just floored by it. I was very floored by him going 13th. I think he would go a lot higher than 13 in the 2020 redraft.
I think it's entirely, again, I just tweeted out the other day, made some people mad. Top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL: Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow. That's how I think they should be drafted. That's how it should be drafted. And you can make an argument 3 years younger. Maybe take Hurts over Mahomes. I'm just saying. You
don't have to tell me to make that argument. I spent all week on Radio Row making that argument.
In that specific situation.
I agree.
But regardless, I mean, it's asinine. All right, it makes me so mad. Like, wait, again, as we always joke about in this pod, I'm the king of saying I don't care about something and then like really, truly caring about it. So. Right.
Well, I'm all in on just caring about things.
Yeah, your awards matter.
I'm big into exactly. Yeah, like I'm all in on caring. Yeah, feelings matter, caring matters.
We're a caring and feelings podcast. That's
ears matter, right? I mean, everything matters.
Yes, ears. Yes. My daughter, I had to take my daughter to the freaking doctor today. It was a really good time. All right, she's left the room since, so should be a smoother pod than the last. I guess
she wasn't feeling the defensive coordinator.
I know. You know what it is that she likes the idea of like, oh, that'd be fun to sit with you, and then she realizes she can't talk for 30 minutes, and then she's like, well,
so she just has to leave. Yeah,
this sucks. Hold on, I'm going to talk to you. I'm like, you can't talk. I'm doing this, and then she's like, oh, this sucks. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. It's like, yeah, no.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, get it going.
Yeah. All right. Would you like to guess? Have you seen the Super Bowl odds?
No. Well, okay. I mean, I've seen them, but I don't really remember them, to be completely honest.
All right. You don't have to guess the exact odds, but guess the top 5 in order, because there is a clear top 5 and then a drop in the odds. So there's a clear very close. So basically from plus 600 to plus 900, 5 teams
are the top 5. Okay. So I'm going to guess the Chiefs are number 1.
They are.
And rightfully so. Let's be honest. Rightfully so.
It's fair.
Number 2. So I'm trying to decide. I would think that in the next 3 in some order, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Philly, it would just be, I'm guessing that's wrong now based off that smile. All right. Number 2. Right. Okay. 2, I'm going to go Buffalo.
Buffalo is number 2, which is so stupid. Like,
no, I don't think it's that stupid.
We went through this last time. Like the Eagles conference is whoever the favorite in.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
Be a bigger favorite. Like it's.
You're right. You're right.
Like the Bills have to beat all these other teams. Like it's so silly. In my opinion.
All right. So I think your logic is correct that whoever gets out the AFC is going to have a tougher time than whoever gets out the NFC. The Eagles are in a tough spot trying to go back, which I'm sure is representative in these odds. All right, so Cincinnati 3, probably.
Eagles are 3. The
Eagles are 3? All right, what are they at? Plus
So it's
7?
very close. So it goes the Chiefs at plus 600, the Bills at plus 750, the Eagles at plus 800, but the Eagles are tied at plus 800. And it is not with the Bengals.
Cowboys?
No. The other team that we now hate because they.
Oh, the Niners.
The Niners are also plus 800.
Yeah, so I disagree with it. Like,
that's
to be honest,
crazy to me. They don't even know their quarterback's going to be.
I don't think the Eagles or the Niners are good. Like, if we're just looking at odds, I don't think I would like either of those as bets. Now I will say getting the Eagles at plus 650, I guess, is pretty
plus 800.
You know, like plus 800. Like my
I
guess
love
is
the Eagles. I love the Eagles.
That's yeah.
I
plus
love
800
the Eagles.
Is actually pretty good.
Like, I think it's a great bet, and I know it's hard to go back and all that, but
the NFC is just so weak, and I know
it
things change and there'll be better teams, but yeah.
I mean, we went through the quarterbacks the last pod, and it's like, it's astounding. Like, if you're discussing this with someone, just pull out your phone, pull up the standings, and like go through the quarterbacks, and when you see that, like, it's like Hurts, then it's like Dak, then it's like Goff, Cousins, like we're in that range. Like that quick Rodgers, we don't even know where he's going to be, but even if he's in that range, like it's horrific. You know, Justin Fields maybe takes a leap. I don't know. They saw,
but even if Justin Fields takes,
that's my whole point. It's my whole point. So I do think the Eagles should be favored by more.
What are the Cowboys at?
So that's what I was going to get. So the Bengals are plus 900. So they're right behind them. So it really is, again, like we can quibble, but like the Chiefs at plus 600 and the Bengals at plus 900 in the 5th spot. It is pretty tight between those 5 teams.
It's the top 5, yeah.
Then there's a big drop. So then it drops to Dallas Cowboys
at
plus 1,600 for the Cowboys. Now, here's what's really interesting, Elliot. This is really interesting because it goes Bengals, Cowboys plus 1,600. Then it's just the Cowboys there. Then we have another massive drop down to the Ravens at plus 2,500. The Ravens.
Well, I definitely don't like the Ravens at plus 2,500.
So it's after that. I mean, like, look, then it's, I mean, after the Ravens, so there are a bunch of teams tied at 2,500. It's the Ravens, the Lions, Jared Goff.
I don't know. We've always been a pro Dan Campbell pod. So as a pro Dan,
I love Dan. Chargers and the Jets are all plus 2,500. I mean, the Jets, that seems crazy. I guess they're banking on the quarterback.
I mean, the Jets aren't a terrible bet if you think they're going to get a quarterback, but I don't really believe in head coach. So
if the Chargers had fired their coach, I would think, that's a nice upside play, but they're the Chargers. They're a loser.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, I think the Eagles are actually not a bad bet when you go through and think about the conference, just looking deep in terms of some long shot odds that are at all interesting. I honestly don't think any of them are that interesting.
The one that interests me
is your Dolphins. Your Dolphins at plus 3,500. No, I'm saying real long shots. I'm saying real long shots.
Well, plus 1,600 is a pretty long shot.
Yeah, but not in these odds. I mean, they're easily the 6th best odds, like by a mile.
True.
I'm talking plus 3,500, plus 4. I'm talking when you get down to the dregs.
All right,
like
I'm gonna open.
Do you like the Cowboys? Do you like the Cowboys to win the NFC? That's where you're going with this. Is this your new take?
I like them.
I could see it.
I'm not, but I do think they're the second best team. I do think they're the second best team.
I agree. Yeah. I do.
And the Niners.
I think the Niners are better than the Cowboys. I think the Niners are better.
I don't actually, when you consider the quarterback, and they have no idea who's going to be there. But what was I going to say? I know no one on this pod is going to bet the Cowboys, so it's pointless to say. But I do think plus 1,600. And to your point, it is interesting that it dips that far.
That's my point.
Right, let me pull it up.
The 6th best odds. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not worth it. I don't think there are really that many. Like the Browns at plus 3,500. If you think Deshaun Watson is going to bounce back to being Deshaun Watson, neither of us do. I'm just saying, if you're looking at long shot odds, like because of the quarterback,
I got my long shot.
Not a lot of Pittsburgh. I know you're a big Kenny Pickett guy, plus 5,000. Pickett makes a leap. But the Bears at plus 6,600, I don't think that's happening. What do you think? What's your long shot?
All right. So for me, it's the Broncos plus 3,000. Better head coach, good roster.
It's an interesting one. Yeah.
Right now, the tough thing is
could be cooked, but that's interesting.
But the tough thing is their division is really hard. But plus 3,000,
not that hard. I mean, look, the Raiders might stink. The Chargers are the Chargers. I'm just saying.
That's a good point. And for what it's worth, they have a Super Bowl winning head coach and quarterback. And I know that like it's a long time ago for both of
Oh
them.
yeah. Oh, head coach and quarterback. Is that important to you?
The Bryant Dolphins plus 3,500 is interesting.
That was the one I
Outside of
said. I was
that,
going to say your Dolphins at plus 3,500. A little interesting. I
so
mean,
I don't like this
Vikings
one.
at plus 4,000. Like I can't bet on Kirk Cousins, but they were 13-4 last year.
I mean, look, I know they didn't make the playoffs last year, but the Titans plus 7,000 is a little interesting,
I
just
love
because there's
you're just a Vrabel devotee.
yeah, I can't help it. Yeah,
Your turn to being a leader of men guy with coaches is my favorite thing that's happened in the history of
the
the
best minds are willing to change them, man. But I mean, seriously, look at the teams that are around the Titans. The Buccaneers don't have a quarterback. The Seahawks, I don't think anyone really believes in them. The Commanders are a joke. The Falcons suck. The Cardinals are a joke. Like the Titans have at least won a bunch of games over the last few years. I know they didn't make the playoffs last year. They fell apart, but they're bringing back a lot of the same core. I don't know, plus 7,000. I don't think they win the Super Bowl, but if you make the playoffs, which they definitely could in that division, so that would be like my favorite. Definitely not going to happen bet. Then I would go Dolphins plus 3,500, Broncos plus 3,000. I guess when you talk about it more, the Eagles plus 800 is probably a pretty good bet. But I would, yeah.
One. All right, let's get to the MVP odds quickly before we get out of here. Do you still have those
Yes.
up?
I do. I have to go back because I pulled them up. But all right, regular season MVP. Have you seen these? I think you already bet this, but
I bet Hurts already. I bet him already.
So you told me when you bet Hurts that he was like 12th or 16th or something like that.
I just said he wasn't. I just said he wasn't near the top. I didn't actually.
Okay, so
count. I didn't actually count. I was doing like an estimate. I actually thought he was like 6th or 7th, is what I think he was.
Okay, sorry. So, do you want to guess, or do you want me just to tell you?
Oh, I haven't looked it up. Yeah, yeah. Just tell me.
Okay, so Joe Burrow plus 700. I like that one. Sure. Mahomes plus 700.
He's not winning back-to-back years. They don't like to do
probably
that.
not.
In the NFL, they don't do that.
Josh Allen plus 800 is interesting because if he just puts together a slightly better year than last year and they finish with the 1 seed, I think he has a chance to get it. Herbert plus 1,100. I don't think they'll be good enough. And then Hurts plus 1,200. Yeah. So I think that's probably right around where Hurts belongs. Like you could argue put him ahead of Herbert, but when you take into account,
put him ahead of Herbert.
But I don't know. When you take into account,
what has Herbert done? What has Herbert done?
I don't. Look, I agree. Jalen is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. I agree with you on that. I'm just saying when you think about all we've talked about in postgame and postseason pods, like it's tough to go back, a lot of turnover. Like, I don't know. Like Herbert, I think his team is mostly trash, but I think Jalen belongs right around there. I mean, Herbert's plus 1,100 and Jalen.
Here's what 12. I will say. Jalen Hurts is winning the MVP this year, so you should bet on it.
All right.
That's my
okay. I think it's going to be okay. All right.
That's honestly,
I think it's going to be tough.
I think there's going to be, and this is going to be strange for us, but I think there's actually going to be a little bit of support for the Eagles this year publicly, in the sense that I think a lot of America really thinks we got screwed. I really do. Like a lot with the flag, with the field, like they're like, I mean, a lot of people, like a lot of people and a lot of voters and a lot of NFL people. And like I mentioned, the Kirk Herbstreit, the Pat McAfee's, all these guys in the league, like, I think that people, and Jalen didn't get the MVP this year because he missed the 2 games. And there's all this stuff. Like, I think if Jalen is great next year, there will be a push for him to win the MVP.
So I do think Jalen in that way will have more of a public backing heading into the year. Now, he won't have the narrative of like coming out of nowhere, proving people wrong, which like can help with that. He will have gotten paid. He will have almost won the Super Bowl. So I think there won't be that underdog kind of narrative that he was able to ride this year. I do think people want to give Jalen the MVP. Like I think going into next year, he won't have to fight it. Like if he has a great year again, and fair or unfair, but if he plays all the games, like I think he has a good chance of winning it. So plus 1,200, I think those are pretty decent odds. And again, like if you if you think the Eagles are just going to run it back, I don't know if you can you parlay? So if you parlay Jalen, and I'm going to do Eagles win the Super Bowl. If you
I don't think you can. I don't know if you can you parlay this. I'm almost positive
you can. You can.
Really?
Oh no, you can't. My bad.
I was almost positive you couldn't. I was like 99% sure. Well, either way, it lets you put it together. You can't bet that. I'm 100% sure you can do it. But yeah, I mean, look, it's just, it's interesting because you look around the league, quarterbacks usually win MVP. There just aren't that many great quarterbacks.
No,
there aren't that many guys who say.
And what Jalen and the Eagles have going for him before we wrap this up is that the AFC will battle each other out, and the NFC, at least as of right now, doesn't seem as good. Things could change, obviously. But as of right now, when you look at it, it looks like the Eagles are the clear-cut best team in the NFC against a Cowboys team. That's really it. But in the AFC, there's like 6 teams that I think are going to be difficult to play next year. So that will help Jalen in terms of racking up wins, putting up numbers, and all those things.
All right. For the first time in like a month and a half, I didn't prepare a final thought today, Elliot.
Wow. Look at you.
Okay,
I have a final.
Actually have some in my notes that I can pull up, but it feels unfair. It feels like
I have a quick final thought. Dude, isn't it crazy we used to pick the phone up without knowing who was on the other side of it? Think about that. Think about the fact that you would pick the phone up and it could be anybody. It could be like your mom, your boss, your significant other, your friend, the telemarketer. Like you just had no idea. Like there was no screening calls for forever. Like if you were expecting a call from somebody, you were vulnerable to talk to anybody at that point. So I think it's pretty wild.
It's a good one by you. I remember those days.
Imagine how crazy now would be.
You used to get excited for the phone to work. Not as many people had your number, I think, is the big difference. And, but it is an interesting thought.
And you would have a rough idea of who it would be. But I just think it's crazy that people used to be like, I'll just pick up and you have absolutely no idea who it is.
It's a really good point by you, buddy. I love it.
Thanks. Thought about that last night.
That was great. All right, I got to go because Emily has a meeting and I have to go watch Zoe because she bailed on the room. It's fun having your kid home during the day.
Always.
All right. Love everyone who tuned in. We'll get to the chat next time. Sorry we didn't do more with that. My fault. We'll talk to you guys soon. Love everyone. That's all I got. You good?
That's it.
Love
He's
you,
Elliot. Yeah.
You do it.
He's Elliot. I'm James. I'll talk to you guys next time.